My name is Charles. And as it was written that it was the best of times and the worst of times, perhaps in every era of history, this could have been true, for the line itself refers to the perspective that one has on what is occurring around them. That it was the best of times and the worst. What does it mean? If one were to take a blanket that you are wearing to protect you from the chill this evening, and you do not see perhaps any foreign particles or dirt or dust within it, within the fabric that is around you, like the fabric of society, and it seems to be certainly clean enough. But if you were perhaps to shake it about and to see the dust or dirt, as you would prefer to call it, to rise up out of it and into the air, are you creating chaos, or are you releasing it in order so that it may then be more in order or surrendered, cleansed? Or would you prefer to have these particles that do not serve you, or perhaps give you an allergy or clog any other system of your well-being? Would you rather it stay embedded in the fabric? The answer is obvious. Though perhaps you have lived otherwise within your personal lives, your professional lives, your public and private experiences being you. One could say, if one were so inclined, that what has occurred politically in your country is that the fabric is being shaken up. Some would have preferred certain elements that were embedded in the fabric to stay that way, to stay suppressed. Mind you, both sides, if you were to reduce them to two, feel this way. No matter whom your candidate was, what we are saying is still holding true. The ones you consider them would agree that things are being shaken up from this fabric that need to be cleansed. And you feel this, perhaps, if you were to take this position. Things are not created in your election, they are revealed. The candidates represent in the macrocosm that which occurs in the microcosm. Perhaps you see a battle of egos. You have experienced this. Perhaps you are seeing male versus female, masculine versus feminine. You have experienced this as well. Perhaps you are experiencing bullying, or the nature of racism, bigotry, secrets, hiding, investigations. These are metaphors, perhaps, in your own life. A search for truth, in acceptance of whether this is permissible behavior in society. Case in point, whether you prefer Mr. Trump or do not. His remarks regarding a certain gender are revealing, and a discussion is brought up. For many good men, perhaps as you would call them, have tried to bring this up, but to little avail. And so, a very strong opinion is expressed, and it activates you to react. For when it was presented to you in a very wonderful teaching, perhaps, that men or women began to say such talk is not conducive to equality and sharing between human beings, regardless of gender. And so, as you are activated, those who support this belief that Mr. Trump himself has, or those who are against it, both are activated, both are awakened to something. Why must it take such a force? For one side, it is a very refreshing and pleasant force. For others, it is repulsive and stagnant. And yet, the discussion or the feeling within is quite alive. For half of you, or more than half of you in your country, did not decide to choose at all. You did not vote. Perhaps that was a vote, saying, I do not want to be involved at all between this one and that one. You have experienced that in your own lives, perhaps in your families. I'm not choosing sides between this family member and that one. I'm choosing to stay out of it. This is not my world. I have figured out this family. You love drama. And so you have taken yourself out, some of you, from your family dramas. Perhaps that is what some who did not vote are choosing to feel. Or perhaps some believe that it does not make a difference either way. Which brings us to the concept of belief. Understand that if you are upset with the turnout, it is because there is a belief that you hold. Your belief is that certain things will happen. And therefore you have a feeling that things are not as they should be. What makes you think that anything in reality is not as it should be? That would mean that the creative source of all things makes mistakes. Was a mistake made? Was the wrong person placed there? Mind you, you are believing and have your faith that it is a just system. You also do not choose to believe that it was chosen a long time ago whom was to be in that office, for reasons and by people whom you will never know. That is a distinct possibility, that your president has no power at all, that you are being distracted by a drama of two actors very much on the same side. This is unbelievable to you. This is very distressing to you. For your belief is being shattered. Your faith in something that was an institution, your ideal, that you have experienced in your own lives as well, haven't you? And you do not like ideals being shattered. You want what is best. So do they. They believe their way is the best, and you believe your way is the best. And each side shall say, yes, but. They are truly wrong. They do not see what the problem is. It is them. And you have all the evidence in the world to back it up. And so, let us say that Mr. Trump does everything that he has threatened to do. What shall happen to you? Is your life suddenly going to become miserable? Is he in control of what happens to you and your happiness? Who creates your healthcare package? Don't you? With what you are doing with yourself. How you think, what you take into your body. How you think, what you take into your body. How you think, and what you put into your body. And did we mention how you think? It is an interesting thing when someone declares their power and you give them more. Because you believe in a fight. What shall happen then? There is an activation occurring. Be very careful here as you interpret our words. We do not mean to say that the activation is so that the good people shall rise. You are serving yourself with that interpretation. You are not serving the world. You are simply extending your ideology with a confirmation that the spirit guides have said that good shall prevail over evil, and that is again your downfall. There is no evil occurring. There is only God omnipresent at all times within every molecule of your body. And how you define God shall be up to you. If you have a punishing God, then certainly you shall experience reward and punishment. You shall wait for reward and punishment and what you consider justice. If you think of God as love that experiences you and creates experiences with you as self-evolving God realization, as expansive thought, as surrender to creation of your reality by you. Simply put, how you feel is up to you. If you make that your God, then that God would be the permeating energy of all things. And that shall be your operating system. The moment before your blessed feet touch the floor of your bedroom, and each night as you lay your head to rest. There is nothing to fear here. God is reality unfolding. You are co-creating your realities. You feel that there are some who are opposing you. They are not opposing you. You are co-creating with them something else that is to come, and you can feel oneness any time you choose. It is not up to them to act like you need them to act, hold office or not hold office, for you to feel oneness. Mind you, this is again under the assumption that you believe the role of president has something to do with how the country is run. It does not have anything to do with it. You may choose to believe this information we are offering to you and put two and two together and see whether your country has changed under any office. Certainly within the last 60 years. For that is when the country changed hands. And the power began to be with those who controlled the money, and certainly the military-industrial complex. And that is another evening entirely. But do the research yourselves. You say, what will happen then? Well, certainly, activated, productive discussions about what is permissible and respectful in language shall certainly be on the table, wouldn't it? Who and what is in American shall also be put on the table. Good. Settle it once and for all for yourselves. Did you want some other generation to do it? Your children, perhaps? Is that what you wish for them? Then do not be afraid to discuss and to be. But if you approach the topic with anger, then anger shall come back to you. If you approach it with an understanding that reality is unfolding, and that you are observing it and co-creating it at the same time, you see, if you choose to live your life as if things are happening and you must react then that shall be your life entirely. Things shall happen, you shall react. Like a puppet. How interesting. Your president themselves are puppets, and now you are puppets to the puppet. Congratulations. How much did you create today? Or were you surviving mostly? How much did you create today? Was it to your satisfaction? Did it impress you how much you created today? Then you have no business worrying about others' creations. The best of times and the worst of times. Change and how you feel about it is up to you. You gladly accept exercising your bodies and feeling the soreness for days after. In fact, you begin to become delighted by it, for you began to understand that you are tearing down muscle fibers and building them up. That is acceptable to you. You understand process then. You understand that the leaves shall fall in the autumn and they shall grow again. You do not expect them to stay year-round in many parts of the country. You understand the cycle of things. Much of what the promise is, this certainly you can count on. Most of your president-elects only deliver 10% of what they promise to do. You can expect even less of Mr. Trump. For he is told what he is allowed to do. And that is that. And you are allowed to do anything you tell yourself to do. Focus on your creations, now more than ever. Your creations are not separate from perhaps the job you think you must do or the role you must play, whether you are a parent or you are a boss or an employee. Everything is your creation. We are not referring to get home from your job and then get busy on the thing that you really wish to do. Each moment is your creation. You write if it was the best of times or the worst. Hundreds of years ago, even 50 or 60 or 200 years ago, with all the growth that was constantly happening around the world, you still would find people who would say times are terrible, and yet you are living in a more connected time. You actually accept each other far more than you did centuries ago. You are into marrying. You are having children together. You are creating businesses together. The world is doing this. The fabric, not only of society, but perceived reality is being shaken. It does not need to be an earthquake kind of shake. It is simply a kind of shake when someone wants you to wake up. They shake you to get a hold of yourself. You have experienced that in your life as well, haven't you? So we encourage you very strongly to not choose fear or anger unless it motivates you back to love and understanding and a higher perspective. And to know that if you choose love, then what can hurt you? Bless you.